Ethereum has just recorded an extremely negative milestone, and analysts warn that its price could drop even further in the coming weeks and months. A meme coin has skyrocketed 80% in the last 24 hours, but be careful if you're thinking about trading it. Is now the time to buy Bitcoin, or should we stay on the sidelines of this unstable market? These are some of the things we'll talk about today. As always, be generous with the likes and comments, and let's get started. Yesterday we took a deeper look at Bitcoin, and today we'll shift our focus to Ethereum. The second largest cryptocurrency reached an all-time high of nearly $5,000 last summer, but since then it has crashed by around 70%, and at the time of this recording it's trading around $1,600. Even more concerning is that Ethereum has posted losses for 3 consecutive quarters, something that has never happened before in the asset's history and highlights the extreme weakness in the market and the potential for further downside. There are several reasons for this, including the overall collapse of the crypto sector, low activity within the Ethereum ecosystem, weak institutional interest, and so on. The analyst known on X as Ted warns that if Ethereum doesn't reclaim 1,700 soon, the risk of another major crash increases. More and more people believe the price could bottom out around $1,000, and some even predict a drop below this psychological level. Recent whale activity reinforces these gloomy expectations. Data shows that large investors saw nearly $1 billion worth of ETH in just 1 week, and many players are already offloading their holdings at significant losses. Still, some indicators suggest a possible short-term recovery. The amount of ETH on exchanges remains quite low, which signals that retail investors are not panic selling, and the relative strength index has dropped below 30, meaning Ethereum is oversold and could be preparing for a bounce. Leave a comment, are you still holding Ethereum, and what do you expect to happen to its price in the coming weeks and months? Today the crypto market recovered a small portion of the losses from recent days, but the gains are minor and far from enough. Bitcoin is up 2% and has climbed back above $60,000, while most major altcoins have risen 2–3% in the last 24 hours. However, there is one token that exploded more than 8% during this period, MemeCore. At first glance, it sounds impressive, but we need to be extremely cautious here. In previous weeks, MemeCore suffered a severe crash after the market was shaken by allegations of manipulation and coordinated actions by certain groups of traders. The price collapsed within hours, leaving many investors with heavy losses. That's why today's sharp jump shouldn't be taken as a guarantee of sustainable recovery. With meme coins, such moves are often driven by speculation, low liquidity, and aggressive social media campaigns. If the previous scenario repeats, MemeCore should reverse direction just as quickly and erase its gains within minutes. Now let's move on to our next main topic, whether this is a good moment to buy Bitcoin. According to well-known analyst Ali Martinez, the past 30 days have shown a very interesting shift in investor behavior. After a long period dominated by fear, selling pressure, and panic, sentiment appears to be slowly turning around, and more participants are moving into accumulation mode. What makes this even more notable is that the shift isn't coming from just one group. It's happening almost simultaneously across different types of holders. The most active right now are retail investors, those holding less than 1 Bitcoin. They've started buying more confidently and seem to view current price levels as a good opportunity to increase their positions. The same trend is visible among mid-sized wallets holding between 10 and 100 BTC. Who have also accelerated their buying over the past month. This is a clear sign that both small and mid-level players are becoming more optimistic about the market. But perhaps the most important factor is the behavior of the largest holders, wallets with between 1,000 and 100,000 BTC. They have not only stopped selling but have shifted to net accumulation, although in a more cautious manner. Historically, when small fish and big whales start buying during the same period, it almost always indicates that the market has found a stable price floor and that the worst may already be behind us. Such synchronized behavior across investor groups often lays the foundation for long-term recovery. Coordinated accumulation reduces selling pressure, creates a more stable environment, and gradually builds the conditions for a new upward trend. Of course, this is not financial advice. The market remains volatile and everyone should assess their own risk. But it's clear that sentiment around Bitcoin is changing, and we may be witnessing the early signs of a new cycle beginning to form. To wrap up, here are a few quick flash news updated. MetaPlanet, often called the Japanese MicroStrategy, has purchased another 2,823 bitcoins, bringing its total holdings to 43,000 coins, currently valued at around $2.5 billion. Miles Guo, a Chinese businessman and political activist, has been sentenced to 30 years in prison in the United States for leading a massive fraud scheme worth over $1 billion, according to the Department of Justice. Prosecutors say he misled thousands of investors through fake business ventures, fraudulent funds, and manipulative campaigns, using his social media influence to gain trust and attract victims. Meanwhile, cases of wrench attacks, physical assaults targeting crypto investors in France, have reached 77, a record number. The government has promised increased protection and stronger measures against the groups behind these attacks. That's all for today, friends. Have a productive and successful day, and see you tomorrow.